All right, looks like we're recording. Happy, oh, hold on, I'm gonna mute all real quick, just so that we don't have any feedback. Um, Happy Thursday. I am still very confused about what day of the week it is. Everything is a little confusing still. I'm kind of feeling like time doesn't matter anymore. So, I mean, it does, but also it's very confusing. So, welcome to the Team Nourished Team Call every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. We will be having, it is 8 p.m. Eastern, I assume, yes. We will be having these calls for training and team camaraderie, to give you a place to ask your questions. All of our calls are segmented, so we're going to do recognition and housekeeping, content, and then I'm going to always leave space at the end for questions. It will help keep me on track. So let me do a quick little screen share here so we can shout out some recognition. That last month's Success Club earners, and we'll go over what Success Club is and what some of these metrics are, but Success Club earners, Danielle came in, I came in at 14, Carrie came in at SC 10, which means she helped 5 people get enrolled. Amanda Collison helped 1 person, Lynn Stewart Melling helped her husband, which is 1 person, and Amanda Harold helped 1 person. And then we always have our weekly top 5. The weekly top 5 is determined by volume, Success Club points, and coaches recruited. So we have a math formula that we plug you into, and so if you just enrolled, you purchased something, you may be up on this board. If you helped enroll other people, if you have recruited a new coach, if you rank advanced, those are the kind of things that get your pretty little picture up here on the weekly top 5. So as always, congratulations to Carrie Summers, Renee Koth, Megan Pickup is brand new, she's on there, Amanda Harold, and Amanda Collison. So congratulations, and you can use the new little Zoom reactions that allow you to clap, which I think is fantastic. Okay. So with that said, coming up on Monday, other housekeeping things. Coming up on Monday, we have oh yay, Paige clapped. This is so fun. I can see it. On Monday, we have the 10 rounds launch. So obviously the launch has already started for coaches. So if you have not gotten your copy of 10 rounds and you have not gotten yourself started and you need a program to begin, that would be a fantastic one. So you can go ahead and purchase that as a coach. You can also enroll people as coaches right now with a 10 rounds bundle pack. Customers only cannot purchase it until Monday. So on Monday, customers can purchase 10 rounds. They can do all the bundle packs, and we can go over those at the end if we feel like that would be helpful. But I feel like our big team trainings always do such a good job of running down the new launches and stuff like that. So I don't want to become redundant in that. There's plenty of trainings there. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. We did, again, I just want to congratulate our team for hitting 2-star last week. That's still such a big deal, and I'm really excited for our team and very excited about the growth that has happened. But I did kind of want to run down very quickly the rank structure and the how you get Success Club, how you get on that top board and you see Success Club. If you don't already know what that is, for every 1 person you help get started with a bundle pack, you earn 2 Success Club points. Beachbody has determined that you get, that people who see financial success in this, or that people that feel successful in this, typically help about 3 people per month, which is Success Club 6 or more. At Success Club 6, if you are an Emerald, and I'm going to lightly touch on that tonight as well, if you are an Emerald, you also get free leads with Success Club 6. At Success Club 10, which is helping 5 people each calendar month, you do get paid leads, which means when Susie in Oklahoma sees a Beachbody ad and she signs up for Beachbody On Demand, she's still assigned to a coach. Beachbody rewards working coaches. Working coaches are those that are Emerald and the prior month had hit Success Club 5 or 10 or more. If you hit 5 and Susie signed up for a free account, Susie gets given to you. If Susie signed up for a year subscription and Beachbody or Shakeology and Power Greens, Beachbody gives you that commission. So that's when somebody says a paid lead, that means that you got commission for something that you did not personally send a link for. So paid leads, good stuff. I probably make about, I would say anywhere, this month is going to be very different. I can go back and add all of that up. Typical average months, I probably make anywhere between an extra $100 to $300 in paid leads. So it is definitely beneficial to do, to help 5 people or more, to make that your goal. this month, last month, I should say March, was very different because of all of the COVID stuff, and everyone's now working out from home and signing up for Beachbody On Demand like it is in the bread line, you know? I haven't gone back and added it, but I imagine that it was considerably more last month because of that. So that it would benefit you greatly to go ahead and start doing that as soon as possible so that you can get paid leads or free leads for May, because you're earning that in April right now. Carrie earned SC10 last month, and so she gets paid leads this coming month. So that's kind of how that works. I do want to very quickly run down the rank structure, just because I know there's so many new coaches on here and it can always get a tiny bit confusing. I'm just going to screen share really quick. This is our Beachbody's rank structure. So if you are an active coach, which means you purchased your bundle pack that's in the last month, or you have your Shakeology or your performance line or whatever combination of things that add up to 50 PV or more, you are this sweet little blue coach right here, active coach. Once you become Emerald, you hear that a lot. Get to Emerald, get to Emerald. That's how you get paid leads. That's how you really open the doors to your business. That's how you start earning income. The faster you get to Emerald, the faster you get income. You know, I feel like I took a really long time for that. And had I realized how silly that was to take so long, I would have done that immediately when my coach said to. This can be your husband and your sister. This can be your neighbor and your best friend. This can be your friend who saw your workout on Instagram and your cousin. It doesn't really matter. Beachbody does allow you to do U+2, so it can be your husband and say your sister or your adult child. You can place them underneath of you. It allows for you to become Emerald very quickly, and then you start earning those bonuses. Active Ruby, which is what Matt is today, just means that he's got 2 Emeralds and then coaches. Active Diamond, which is really the beginning and blossoming of leadership and growing a team. You have 8 total personally sponsored coaches who are active, 2 of which are Emerald. And again, had you put say your husband and your sister up there, you can also add to them as well and help kind of expand your business in that way. So you have a lot of control. Beachbody gives you a lot of control over your own business. So that's kind of the housekeeping things I wanted to take care of tonight. One last very sad announcement. I imagine you guys all saw this on our team page. Beachbody Corporate did decide to pull Summit. That has been canceled. Really big heartbreak, because it was one of those things when they canceled the Success Club trip. I was like, oh, that really stinks. I hate that we can't go like party and celebrate and have fun in the Dominican, but we'll see everybody at Summit. And then it was like, oh no, we don't get to see people at Summit too. So we're currently, one of our upline teams, Set Your Soul on Fire, is working on a digital summit. So we are going to do big Zoom. We're going to have one of the live trainers, whether that's Joel or Jericho or Amwala or whoever, come and lead us in a live workout virtually. There'll be mentorships and trainings and a big party and celebrations and ribbons, and we are an adaptive group of people, so we are going to make this fun, and it's going to be an amazing event no matter how many people are able to be there. So I'm really, really thrilled that Amy Silverman is putting that together, and our team should be a very large part of that because she had asked me to help lead one of the trainings as well. So I'm really pumped about that. Okay, so let's dive into effective sharing. That is a topic that has been, I feel like it's really, really important to talk about this, because I see a lot of people, and I'm one of them, right? Like if you scroll back, I think it's really easy to think that myself or Amanda or Carrie, some of the leaders on our team, or if you go to our upline team, Jacqueline and Meredith and Amy and all of these people that have been around for a little while, it's really easy to believe that they all started out knowing how to do social media, knowing how to share their story, knowing how to do effective marketing in that way. They didn't. The vast majority of them didn't. And what I found is that people that do have a really good handle on it actually aren't very coachable. And so they typically flounder as well. So the more coachable that you are, the more open you are to the ways that are working for other people, the better this typically is for you. So with that said, anybody and everybody is welcome to go to team_nourish on Instagram and scroll all the way back to 2014, which don't do that now, but you're welcome to. And you're welcome to see the catastrophe that was my Instagram. I had a lot of pictures of Beachbody products. I had a lot of Canva graphics. I had a lot of just really, really awkward photos, very dark, I didn't know what I was doing. And that's okay. Like, consistency in posting is far more important than perfection. I feel like just like our physical journeys, our business journey, our sharing our story journey evolves in that way too. If it hasn't evolved and you've been around for a while, you may need to check your uncoachableness, because I feel like I'm constantly checking my uncoachableness, and lean into, how do I do this? Tonight's training is not going to be on how do I do TikTok and how do I do Instagram stories. It's going to be effectively sharing your journey, effectively sharing your story, because I feel like all of the other stuff can all be taught through Google, right? And really this can too, probably. Anything and everything can be found on the Google. But you can Google, how do I do a fun TikTok? And 100 YouTube tutorials will pop up. How do I have fun on Instagram stories? 100 YouTube tutorials will pop up, right? But telling your story and really understanding the basics of how to share is something that, again, you're just going to kind of have to stumble your way through. But I'm hoping, as your mentor and guide and leader of this team, I'm able to give you a little bit of leg up on things in the ways that I stumbled, so that you don't have to stumble in quite that way. And again, know that nothing that I say means that I knew any of this 4 years ago or 5 years ago or even 3 years ago. I'm constantly learning. I feel like Carrie will post something and I'll text her, how did you do that? How did you post that video? How did you make that graphic? Like, if you see someone on Instagram that's doing a really good job, I don't care if they're Beachbody or not. I have a really amazing girl who does, I think she's Young Living or doTERRA. I imagine she's Young Living, but she is phenomenal with stories and like tutorials on how-tos. Like, I have contacted her and been like, oh my gosh, how do you do that? How do you share that? And she sent me little links and different things. So don't be afraid to ask people how they're doing. You don't have to come off as the resident expert. Even if you're growing a team and your team now is looking at you and wondering how you're doing stuff, don't feel like you have to come off as the resident expert. Say, I Googled it. I don't know how I did that. I just played around until I figured it out. Whatever it is. But before we can even dive into that, I was on a mentorship call with my coach, because I have a mindset coach that I've been working with this past year. She's phenomenal. Her name is Brooke Ritchie. And we were talking about some of the things that stop people before they ever even really start. And we had talked in our last team call last week about show horses and work horses, and show horses being really, really good at all the pretty Instagram things and all of the posts, and they're really good at that, but there's no behind the scenes work. And then work horses being the people that have no problem telling their neighbor about what they're doing, but they haven't posted on Facebook or Instagram or shared it publicly whatsoever. So our goal is to be the secretariat, the one who is a beautiful show horse as well as a really good worker. So that's kind of my goal in my business, is to show up in both of those areas. But you can't do that until you start acknowledging some fears that exist within coaching. I'm really, really big into mindset. And I think that mindset is the key to unlocking a lot of success, whether that be in your physical journey or your business journey. But with that said, Brooke, my coach, took a poll in one of her groups and asked, there are many, many Beachbody coaches, many, many network marketers in that group, whatever you want to call it, network helpers, whatever. What is holding you back from making the income that you want to make, really? And so she kind of dwindled those down into some core things, and I'm going to read those off. And so I prefer that you raise your hand, because I feel like it's good for some accountability to know that you're not alone. But if you have ever wanted to post about your journey, or you have ever wanted to share something authentically, but something inside of you has stopped, I want to know if any of these have resonated with you, or if you've been doing this more than like a day. And maybe even if you've been doing this a day, some of those fears that have maybe held you back from whatever your next step is. So some of the most common ones are, and I'm going to raise my hand too, so don't feel alone here. They don't feel qualified. They feel like they have to have some kind of certification, some kind of qualification that qualifies them as a coach in order to post. I can raise my hand for that one. They can't lead a team. I'm not a leader and I can't lead a team. No one will show up. I can raise my hand for that one. Not enough time, family, distracted. I have Beachbody, a family, a full-time job, kids at home, all of the things. I can raise my hand for that one. I feel like every single one of these, at some point in the last 5 years, I have felt these. I am overwhelmed, information overload, don't know what to do with it, analysis paralysis. I can't teach others because I'm not doing very well myself. I don't know enough. I'm not a health coach or personal trainer, and I don't understand nutrition. I don't have the it factor. Those that are successful in this have some magic factor. I am not a salesperson. I am not organized enough. I feel like we're seeing a theme here, guys. Let's see. I don't know. Did you raise your hand twice, Carrie? Like, yes. I don't know how to build leaders. If I don't do it all, people will fail, meaning their team. Like if I don't do all the things, my whole team will fall apart and fail. That struggling with their own personal transformation. I'm too heavy to be a coach. I'm too whatever to be a coach. Fear of rejection and judgment from those around us, whether that be our family or our friends or random strangers on the internet. MLM shaming. People have a preconceived notion about what Beachbody is, therefore I don't want to share. Comparison mindset. I see another coach's recognition, I instantly go into comparison mindset. Hamster wheel. I keep doing the same things over and over without doing income producing activities, getting lost in the busy work, distractions. Saying that they want something but not taking action. I have done that for a long time. So like, hopefully you all can see, even on this little team call here, every single one of us has felt something in that list. And something in that list is holding you back from whatever the next step is, whether that's reaching out to that one person, whether that's becoming Emerald, whether that's making a decision on a rank, taking the next step in your physical journey. There is always something holding you back. And one of the coolest mindset things that I have learned in this, in the last couple of months of working with Brooke is every time I say any kind of fear, any of those things, right? Like we'll just stick with that list, any of those things. Her first question is that true? Is it true? Do you know that that's true? And a lot of times I'm like, yeah, of course it is. And she said, is the opposite of that true? Because basically what she's saying is any version of that story is true because you've made it true. And it can also be not reality if you choose to make it not reality. So we can always create a story that is true, or we can flip the script and change it and make it a new story. That kind of truth is only as true as you make it. So if you are held back because of MLM shame, right? Like you're afraid to share Beachbody because of whatever preconceived notion there is on Beachbody, that's as true as you want to make it. There's also obviously 9, 10 of us here that stepped over that fear. Go to our, Good Vibe Tribe. I know Megan, you hopped on that call on Tuesday night. 20, 30 people on that call? Those people wouldn't be here if someone didn't get over that fear. Go to Amy Silverman's calls on, she's number 3 or 4 in the network. I mean, hundreds of people on that call because she got over that fear. I mean, I'm sure at some point she also had that fear. There's also that fear of any of those things at any given moment. You just get to decide if you're going to let that reign supreme and become truth, or if you're going to share your story and share your journey authentically. So how do we do that? I mean, I feel like getting the why and the understanding and the overcoming of fear is a really, really good thing. But there are some things, and I made kind of a little list here, that I see across the board, and that's not me scrolling Instagram and watching Carrie and watching Amanda and watching Megan and Linda and Renee and Lauren and Stephanie and all of the people, right? and being like, ooh, Paige really did this poorly. Maybe I should mention this on the call. This is more, I've watched a lot of coaches for a long time, and I see a lot of people shoot themselves in the foot when they're sharing. And if they understood a couple of basic principles about sharing, they would be so much further ahead. One of those things is telling your story. A lot of people are very hesitant to tell their story. There's a lot of shame attached to it, whether that's their physical journey, their mental health journey, any portion of your journey in your story. You feel like you can't articulate it because there's some kind of shame attached to it. How did I ever get, I think of when I run a challenge group or a boot camp, and the very first day we all post our before photos, right? Our first photos. Every single time for the last 5 years that I've run this thing, every single person is like, how did I get this way? Oh, this is the worst I've ever looked. Like, everybody says that. So, like, get over yourself, move along, like, take the photo, cry the tears, feel the emotion, and move past it. Because if you let yourself sit in that kind of shame, you'll never go anywhere. So one of the things, and that was really easy. It's really easy to say that, right? But when you're about to post a transformation photo, or when you're about to tell the version of your story that's got that emotion tied to it. I think of Amanda's story with her husband and being the primary caregiver for her husband who is disabled, and how she really lost herself in that for a little while. That kind of emotion, that kind of emotional pull, there's shame attached to that in some area, because it always gives you those little butterflies, like, oh, that's TMI. Really shouldn't tell that story. Or, for me personally, I know my story really well. So, like, the fact that I was far more than 100 pounds overweight, had 2 back-to-back C-sections, couldn't hold a plank for 15 seconds, like, so many things that I felt ashamed of in my journey. Had I not stepped over that fear and just shared it, we would have never gotten, none of you guys would even be here probably. You would be either on some other team if this opportunity came about, or you wouldn't be here at all. You'd be still stuck in your own junk. So, one of my favorite Keith Callahan quotes is, you can either sit down in your shit and take a big nap in it, or you can just walk on through, shake it off your shoe, and keep going. Like, that's how you're going to change lives. That's how you're going to change your own life. And that's how you're going to change the lives of other people. So some of the things is stopping before you even start. Maybe you've sat down in a quiet place and you've written out your story and you're ready to share that for the first time. How, whatever that is. And it doesn't have to be the word vomity, diarrhea, every gory detail of all of your family history, right? But some piece of your story that led you to the next place, right? And where you are right now. Kendra Hall there's 2 books that I'm going to recommend to you guys for this specific section. Kendra Hall's book, Stories That Stick. I did a live video. You can search Stories That Stick in our team page. I did a live video recapping some of my takeaways from that book. But it's a great business development book because she talks about how to tell a story. So, because stories aren't just, one day I was born on a ranch in Oklahoma and did it, like, that's a very long story. Like, we need to be able to capture these little moments in time. But some of her effective tools are, there's always a normal that isn't okay. You're uncomfortable. There's a not okay part, right? And then there's going to be a point of impact, a moment in time. And then there's going to be the new normal. If you watch any Disney movie, if you watch any video, anything, any story, there's always the way things were, a moment in time, and now the way things are. So there's another way of saying that, and it's feel, felt, found. I felt, feel, found. I felt this way. I now feel this way because I found this. So those are kind of the delineations of the story. But guys, stories are what connect you to other people. Because as great as adding value is, and I am the queen of preaching, add value, add value, add value. If all you're doing is adding value and you're never telling your story, you are not a human being to those other people. You are no different than some random web page that has a pretty infographic. That doesn't change lives. this. It might give somebody a little bit of information, but your story is what that human connectivity is. And we as human beings desire connectivity. We desperately crave that. It was woven into our fabric. And so if you aren't telling your story or a portion of your story in your postings or on your Instagram stories, and don't think that you get to just tell it once. Let me insert this here, because we kind of talked about that last time. You can't just tell your story one time and think, okay, well, I did it. Now I never have to do it again. Because if I was to ask you, what did Carrie post 3 weeks ago? You would have no idea what Carrie posted 3 weeks ago. You don't know what I posted 3 weeks ago. You don't know what I posted probably 2 days ago. Because that's the way social media is. Not everybody sees things all the time. Also, one person can read your post or your blip of your story, your breadcrumb, one day, and it hits them in no way at all. They did not need to hear your story. They don't care. It's scroll right on through. A week later, you've told another blip of your story, another portion of your story, you've woven those two pieces together, whatever that looks like. All of a sudden, they went swimsuit shopping. Like, we'll keep this really shallow here. They went swimsuit shopping and now hate the way their body looks. They got an Amazon shirt that they ordered and it showed all their belly rolls. And now you've shown up with your story again, because that's your job, right? Is to share your story. And you've done what you're supposed to do. You were coachable and you did it again. And now that story hits them differently. And now they're ready to enroll with you or have a conversation or whatever that next step is for them. It's not and you could tell literally the exact same story and they probably don't even remember it. So don't think that you just get to tell your story one big time and that's all you ever have to do. You need to be sharing that very regularly, get very comfortable with your own story. And maybe part of this is you don't know your story. That was an exercise that when I was in grad school, we had to do, was to write down why we were passionate about nutrition, why we wanted to get a master's degree in nutrition. Get very comfortable with that. You need to know why you're doing this, because if you don't know why, you can't tell your story. So in that prompt that we had to write, it was like, what was your childhood like? What were, pull out these details that led you to where you were when you decided to make a change. Because those details are going to connect with your audience. Those details are going to connect with the people on social media. And really, as uncomfortable as it was for me, those are the details that connected me to my neighbors. Those are the details that connected me to the girl at church. You know what I mean? It is the power of that story. So sit down one day, write it out. Doesn't have to be all at one time. And obviously you're not going to post an Instagram post that's 64 paragraphs long. Like, you're going to do what's called breadcrumbing. You're going to pick out bits and pieces, moments in time in that story that are meaningful to you, connect them with your now in a moment in time and share that. So it doesn't have to be, I was born on a hot summer day in Houston, Texas, and now I'm here. But maybe it's, my mom thinks that onions, if a dish has onions in it, no matter if it's like literally ground beef and potatoes and onions and mayonnaise and sour cream and rice and beans and all the things, if it has onions in it, my mom believes that it is a veggie full meal. That's a moment, that is a before. A moment in time was when I remember learning that while that's great, that's a tablespoon of vegetables. Like, that doesn't mean that this is a veggie heavy meal. Now I know this is what a veggie heavy meal looks like. That's a story that connects with people. They can see themselves in you. And that's what we're creating here. We're creating the power of that story. But here's what I see a lot of. Especially, I'm gonna point this out specifically in Instagram stories. I see a lot of, boop, this is what my meal looks like. Boop, playing with the kids. Boop, drink. And I'm illustrating this story. I'm narrating it. These people are not. Their narration is a photo. There's no words attached to this photo. There's no video to explain why you perhaps are taking a picture of this tree. It's just a picture of a tree. It means nothing. Like, until you tell the story, until I snap a photo of my water bottle and write a caption on Instagram stories that's like working on that 100 ounces, and I tag my coach Carrie and say, drink up, girl. Like, now we're telling a story. Now we're social. You know, I don't know if you guys follow some of us on Instagram. A lot of times you'll see the mom crack karaoke, or whatever you're going to call it, quarantine karaoke. I've started calling it quarantine karaoke, right? Like, those are cute and funny until you see it connecting with other people's. And all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, look at this fun little team that has all these fun. So I started posting a thing before I posted those called, Girl Squad check-ins. And so now my Instagram followers, who maybe aren't a part of any of this, know that what they're about to see is part of my team. So now they know, and it's not just these random blah, 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 blahs. They know why there's a purpose here. It's the same thing on hard posts. When you do a hard post, give it some depth. In every single post, like, I feel like I need to make sure that I reiterate this. Every single post does not have to be a big, long historical record of your life and this life-changing, ultra vulnerable, you know, my brother was addicted to heroin and I saved his life, and da, 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 da. It doesn't have to be that. It can be light. It can be funny. Social media is meant to be social. It can be adding value. But it's really important that while you're considering specifically, and I feel like I always have to pull apart stories and hard posts, because those aren't the same thing. Your hard posts are what we like to call like the magazine articles, you know, they're adding value, they're entertaining, they're inspiring. Those are the three things that every hard post should do: add value, entertain, inspire. So those three things, right? Stories are more of like the behind the scenes look. It's how you made the shake. It's why you drank the shake. You might like put a little blurb in your post about it, but like you get to tell that story of how many other craptastic chalk tasting protein drinks you ever drank. Don't be afraid to get on video, you guys, especially in stories. It's huge to get on video in stories, because then people are watching and listening. And one of the things I learned from an Instagram story training over the summer was adding captions when you're videoing. So like if I'm sitting here and I'm talking about like, so I just got off my team call and it was amazing, and all of these girls just light up my life and they're the best and blah, 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 right? So I can do that. But how many of you guys, raise your hand if you watch stories with no sound on? I don't always want to hear what you have to say. Like, let me be, like, I watch Instagram stories in mute a whole lot. And if there's a lot, like more than 4 or 5, or somebody it's just their face and they're just talking and there's no captions, you know what I do? I swipe past it. That's just the reality of it. We are a very short, like, attention span kind of people here. That's why Instagram stories are 15 seconds long. So one of the things that makes that really, really helpful is to put a very short caption on a video where you're talking, giving a tiny synopsis. Do not type out every single thing you said. A tiny synopsis of what you said in that video. Like, let me see if I can't even, I just want to give it an illustration. Yeah. So I'm talking about my, this morning I went and I delivered CSA boxes to people in our neighborhood who ordered them. So I'm talking about this, but I wrote a very short caption. I love being able to bring local produce to our community. I spent 15 seconds saying that. But now, if that's something that piques somebody's interest, say somebody from our neighborhood is watching our stories, they're like, what? Hold on. And then I feel like we all know this because we've all done this. We've seen a caption and we're like, hold on, what is that? What is that? And then you turn up the sound and you listen to the story. Be cognizant of the way you read Facebook posts and the way you watch Instagram stories, because a lot of times that's the same way your people who are following you are going to be interacting with that. A couple of other little quick things. If you never post about your workouts, it's really, and you're trying to build a business, let's be real clear here, because I'm not talking about you and the challenge group doing your workouts. I think it's wonderful that my challengers post their workouts. Fantastic. They never want to build a business. Totally fine. I honor and support their goals no matter what they are. But if your goal is to help people enroll in this, if your goal is to provide an income for your family, if your goal is, heck, to pay for your Shaco every month, like if that's what it is, that's wonderful. You've got to do some actual work. Like it's not just, and when I say that, and I'm not telling you every single person has to make workout videos and every single person has to, you know, video themselves in that way. But if you never, ever, ever post about your workout, don't expect anyone ever knows that you're actually doing them. Because the reality of everyone else's life is they're far more concerned with their own life than they are with yours. And so they don't know what you're doing until you tell them. Always remember that most people are not, they aren't in this world. They aren't in our communities yet. They aren't in our boot camps and in our challenge groups. They have no idea what you're talking about until you tell them. So if you are willing to take the 15 seconds and tell the story, and that's the thing, like, you know, we go back to those fear-based things. I don't have time. I have a full-time job and I have kids home and my husband's now working from home and all of the things. It's 15 seconds. We all have 15 seconds. Like if you want to build a business and you can't devote 15 seconds to explaining what you're doing, you don't want to build a business. It's just lip service. So take the time and do the things. Set boundaries, create and carve out time where you're able to work a business. If this was Joe Schmo and you worked for his store, you would go into work. So you have to treat this like a business if you expect it to grow like a business. If you don't care, that's totally fine. Like I said, as a team, we always honor where you are, but don't articulate that you want to build a business, but not back it up with some actions. And we can have a whole nother call on treating your business like a business and CEO mindset and things like that. But this is about effective sharing. But if you aren't sharing, guess what? It's not effective. Like you have to talk to people about what you're doing. And again, it can't be that one time. Oh yeah, I remember Lauren, she did that one workout 3.5 years ago. Like, I have no idea what you did 3.5 years ago. I don't even know what I did 3.5 years ago. I don't even know what workout program I did 6 months ago. Okay. Like, so how would I ever expect anybody else to? I mean, that's the reality here, people. Okay. A couple of other little things, and this is very light, social media training in general, because that's really effective training, right? Like effective sharing. You're getting to know your story, you're telling your story, and you're sharing it effectively. You're telling a story. Like that's what I don't understand about the gap between taking a picture and posting it and not having any kind of dialogue. It's a narration. You've got to tell someone what they're looking at, because you might know what you're looking at, but they don't know what you're looking at. So if you post a sweaty selfie with an emoji with a drip on it, like, cool. That means nothing. There's no story there. There's no connective tissue. And I think, Carrie, you had mentioned in the chat box really quick, you listened to the call from the other night. Could you do me a favor and get the recording of that call from the group and share it? Because I do think that would be really powerful. So I just realized I never said the other book, but I mean, it's the same book I tell you guys about all the time, Daring Greatly. If you have shame issues, thank you. Even better, Carrie, do a live from your notes. If you have shame issues around sharing portions of your story, you got to work on that. That's what personal development is. Personal development is not just reading a nice little thing that makes you feel good inside. Personal development, the point of it is growth. So pick an area where you need to grow and lean in and realize that you reading something or listening to a podcast, and I always go back to the first time I ever read Daring Greatly. And I've shared this story 100 times, but I think I made it to like, I don't know, paragraph 3, slammed the book, was like, you don't freaking know me. I don't even like you. I'm talking to the author of the book here, like in the middle of the night, like, you don't know me. I don't even like you. Get out of my head. Like, no. Guess what, guys? That's a gigantic red flag that you need to attend to that part of yourself. So a couple of months later, I pick up the book again. I decided I was going to read it because all these people had told me about how amazing this book was for them. And I'm like, all right, well, I didn't even like her. She is now one of my absolute favorite authors. That book radically changed my life because it talked about the power of sharing your story, about being vulnerable. And yes, this all relates to business, but that book transcends that in so many ways. The whole second half of that is actually vulnerability in parenting and connecting to your children through the power of vulnerability. And that was huge for our family. Connecting to my husband through the power of vulnerability, huge for my marriage, for my friendships, being able to share in a way that isn't hiding. I wasn't raised that way, you guys. My mom she was born in 1955. She is not, her mentality is privacy, 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 privacy. Don't tell anybody about your life. Don't share this. And if I can bring this to a spiritual level here, that's actually not what the Bible commands you to do. You're actually commanded to share your testimony because it benefits other people. This is the same thing. It's the exact same thing. So whether you want to think of it as sharing your journey, sharing your story, sharing your testimony, whatever that is, you have to do it if you intend on impacting someone else's life. Okay. So that is really all I had as far as content goes. For the next 15 minutes, I'll let you guys unmute yourself and ask questions, share takeaways, whatever you feel like you need to chat about.
Sorry, I cannot see I can see where I've sent stuff in the chat and Amanda sent something, but I cannot see the text at all. But I guess y'all can see the text because you read
Mary says, how do we clap? Paige says there's a reaction button at the bottom of the screen on the right. It says reactions. Carrie said, listen to her on a call the other night. She was amazing. Amanda says, hi, Layla. Hi, Layla. Lauren says 3 years ago. That's about right. Carrie says, or I can do a live from my notes.
Yeah, no, I don't see. All I see is the ones that I sent, but I can't even see the text. It's just white. It says from me and it's all white. I'm like,
you probably need to update Zoom or something.
Story of my life. Do you want me to, would you rather me go in and do a live?
It's up to you. If you felt like the call is beneficial enough for people to watch the entire call, that's fine. If you feel like you really can capture what she said in notes, then definitely go live.
Okay, or I was just going to say I could do it right now, but I guess more people would see it if I did it live.
Well, and I'd rather us leave this time for questions for people for right now, because I don't want it to go too long.
Yeah.
So what questions do we have about sharing our journey or our story or any of the things?
I had a question from last week's call that I watched.
Yeah.
Amanda, what was the name of the book that you said first? You said one was There's No Plan B, but I didn't hear the title of the other one.
There's No Plan B for Your A Game was that one.
And The Slight Edge was the one I mentioned.
Okay.
I'm like, yeah, see, I don't even know. You got to say it 400 times, which is so terrible because I feel like I never should have to repeat myself to my children ever. If I told you to put on your shoes, you just put them on. I never should have.
I think Daring Greatly too.
Yeah, I talk about that book a lot, and for good reason. And I get that her voice doesn't speak to everybody, and that's okay. If you read it and you hate the book and you thought it was dumb, that's totally fine. But for me, it was exactly what I needed to hear, and it just unlocked this. I remember there were so many times during my early times of coaching where I would get inspired for a post at 11 o'clock at night, and I would just sit there on the notes app on my phone and just type out a post, some part of my story that, because again, why would you not come up with that at 11 o'clock at night when you're laying in bed trying to go to sleep, or in the shower, or driving when I'm driving, and that hits me, like maybe I'm listening to an audio book when I'm driving. I use the voice record and I record myself saying what I want to post, or saying some snippets that will hopefully, it doesn't always work, hopefully remind me of what I wanted to tell. But those are ways that I've always, like if I've been reading a book and I don't know, I highlight in the book, like, I don't know, people that don't write in books, I worry about y'all, because all of my book, that's why I never want to lend people books, because they get all kinds of crazy scribblings on the side of them. I mean, I have highlights and notes, and sometimes when I'm not inspired for a post, I will go back to a book that I'm reading and kind of flip through and go, oh my gosh, that was huge. That was huge. And you know, but if it's all value, and that's why, you know, we go through and we talk about things like the color wheel. If you haven't done anything on the color wheel, that's a really good, it's in our team page. Again, just search on the search bar, color wheel. And I mean, it's really not a like fancy concept. It's just a bunch of colors in a circle, and you write all different aspects of yourself about them. So like for Paige, she's a power lifter. She's in the Navy. She's a woman. You know, like it's just these little pieces of yourself. But again, it helps spark that creativity of what do I even share about? You know, I know Megan, you know, and I've known you for a very short amount of time at this point. Like, you have a beautiful cat. You have a beautiful love of nature. You love food. Like, I've already gotten to know those parts of your story from the little bit that you've been sharing, because you're weaving those in. If all you're doing is snap, lunch, like, again, like think about the things that you enjoy looking at and replicate. Again, don't copy paste, but replicate. If there's a part of my story that I've written that really resonates with you and I have articulated it in a way that you have never been able to, copy and paste part of it. Again, we're not copying and pasting my story, because my story is not your story. That's a really easy way to tell when someone has no connection or is letting fear rule their life, when all they do is copy paste someone else's story and post it. It's one thing to share another person's journey and how it's inspired you. It's a different story to copy and paste and just put it out there because you are uninspired. So what else? What other questions? Oh, Paige, I think you're talking. I'll unmute you, or maybe you need to unmute you.
Aha, yes. This isn't really a question, but I think one of the takeaways that I got from this is I've always worried about like posting my story and posting like too often, and I feel like overwhelming people almost, you know what I mean? So just being encouraged with that I'm adding value, or I'm entertaining, or I'm inspiring with it, and have different ways of presenting it. I really think that's helpful, because then it's not just this one thing like, oh man, you know, I used to be this and now I'm this, which is part of it, but like finding unique ways in your week, like a new perspective on it.
Absolutely.
To share.
Yeah. And general rule of thumb, because I think everybody wants some kind of measuring stick to decide if they're sharing enough or they're doing enough or whatever. One hard post a day is really, and I say hard, I hope that makes sense. Like, tell me if that doesn't make sense when I say the word hard post. One hard post is a Facebook post, is an Instagram post that goes on in someone's news feed or on someone's 9-block grid of Instagram, right? That's a hard post. Stories are stories. So one hard post a day is really, really effective. If you do 2, it's not like, oh my God, Paige did 2. Wow, she's really oversharing. But it just gives you a marker to hit, that you know that you're out there. Because if you never, I don't know, I'll come up with a good analogy later, but if you never knew a business even existed, if they never marketed, you would never even know to go to them. You have to put something out there pretty much daily in as far as algorithms go. Now, that kind of bodes the question, what if I haven't been posting regularly? Start. The best time to start is right now. Right now. The other thing that I will say I notice a lot of people doing, and it's just something you might want to be cognizant of, is when, like what time you're posting. You can look up all kinds of things, and there's all kinds of business advice on that. My big thing is, when are you looking at Instagram? When are you looking at Facebook? Granted, now the quarantine days, I don't know, we got to come up with like a title for what we're living in right now. Things are a little bit different. But prior to that, when people are sitting there drinking their coffee, when people are on their lunch break, when people are winding down after dinner, those are the kind of time frames. But posting at 10:30 at night, not as effective as posting at maybe 8:30 at night or 8 in the morning or lunchtime-ish, and just kind of get to know your audience, because every audience is different. I mean, Linda, your audience is different than mine, is different than Paige's, is different than Carrie's. I mean, everyone is going to have a different rhythm to that. But just posting when the inspiration strikes, again, for me, a lot of times it's 11 o'clock at night, laying in bed. Oh, there's your pretty kitty. Oh, sweet day. Yeah, so that might be helpful as well. And again, don't get wrapped up in semantics. If it's stopping you from posting, then freaking post the thing. Like, don't let any kind of perfection metric stop you from doing it. As far as Instagram stories or Facebook stories go, because I know Amanda and I were talking on Tuesday, Facebook stories have been really helpful for her, not as much for Instagram stories. Her audience exists a lot on Facebook. No worries. Post on Facebook stories. Just because Instagram stories is working really well for me doesn't mean that my audience and your audience don't enjoy different things. And it's never redundant to post on both. I mean, lots of people have it set up so it just automatically posts to both. I don't, but I would say anywhere between 6 to 10 stories a day will keep you in people's feeds, because that's the thing. You're like Instagram and Facebook, social media rewards your consistency by putting you in people's feeds. If you post an Instagram story once every couple of weeks, nobody's going to see it, because Instagram didn't even put you in people's feeds. So
I have a question.
yeah.
Okay. So, cohesion between, I guess, like posting on your Instagram versus your story. So, and you may already do this, Danielle, but like today I put a post up about homemade food colorings.
Oh,
with
fun.
the kids. So when we do that this weekend, I'll be able to post stories about it and then lead people back to that post. So
Beautiful.
And this may have been done the whole time, and now it's just clicking for me, but I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. So I don't know if you do that now and if you find success with it, or.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I've done it exactly that way, but I absolutely point people to where I want them to go. I mean, that's part of taking ownership of your business, is directing the flow of attention to where you want it to be.
Okay.
If you, I love that you did homemade food colorings. I think that I'm wrapped
It was
up in
in the
that.
blog, so if you don't know, you have access to that.
It's on the Beachbody blog.
Yeah, I just stumbled across it last night. I'm like, oh, this would be fun.
You're so good. Well, and I think of Carrie, when you did Cooking with Coach Carrie the other week, you used a Beachbody recipe. It's just another layer of connectivity. So if you're doing it on Facebook, you took a picture of it and posted it on your Instagram stories and told people to go watch your Facebook. All of those things are pointing people to where you want them to be, where you want their attention. So absolutely, I think that you should do that for sure. And I will say, every time I do a hard post on Instagram, which is just about every day, I will post it in my stories. And that's maybe a kind of training-ish thing. You can know to do, maybe everyone else already knows how to do this, but like yesterday we had this one. So if you go to your post, there's this little arrowy thing right there. If I push that, I can add it to my story. What's really cool is, yes, that's effective for getting eyes on your stuff very quickly. But the other thing it's really effective is for, like, if you had a call to action post. A call to action is you're asking your audience to do something. Sign up for my boot camp. Tell me this. Like, it's a directive. You are wanting them to do something. Don't be afraid to repost that hard post to your story. Just share it again. You don't have to just share it the day you did it. That's one of the things that I think Instagram influencers do really, really well. They'll do a video about making zoodles, right? Like made zucchini noodles. Every time they make a dish that has zoodles, they will relink that hard post to their stories. Go check out my post about how I make zoodles. So they're rehashing and reusing old content to be fresh again, to get new eyes on it again. Because again, as awesome as it is for us to believe that like it's a one and done kind of thing, how many times have I gone back to something and thought, oh my God, that's amazing. I've never seen her make zoodles before. And then I look, and not only have I liked the post, I've liked it, I've commented on it, and I've probably saved it. Like, but all of a sudden, it is valuable to me again. So don't think that your audience doesn't want the same kind of things.
Is that option available on Facebook, like sharing your main post? Okay, I'll check into it.
I have no idea because I don't regularly do Facebook stories. I need to. It's one of those things that I always am like, oh, I gotta do that. And then I never do. I'm sure I would see a lot more success if I was more consistent in that area. Because again, the more touch points you have, it takes an average of 7 touch points with someone for them to do anything. And I say do anything, I don't mean purchase from you. I mean, half the time it takes 7 touch points for them to even start a conversation with you, especially in a vulnerable area like health and wellness. That's not something that most people are easily like, oh my gosh, I should just lose 15 pounds. Let me reach out to whoever I can. Like, most of the time there's a pain point for them. They're ashamed of whatever happened that got them to this uncomfortable place. They don't want to reach out and tell somebody that. Again, that's the power of, we talked about show horse and workhorse. That's the power of that workhorse. They're the ones out there inviting. Because, I had a conversation with Paige today. No matter how long I've been doing this, I still have to invite. I don't have people knocking down my door to join my boot camp. I still get out there and invite. And if you think that you are above that, you will not see growth in your business. Occasionally, do I get someone come to me? Yes, for sure. Of course I do, because I'm consistent in posting. I'm consistent in sharing. They know what I do. But I don't make SC10. I don't help 5 people a month by not inviting. I can promise that. So I think that's one of those it factor kind of things that people see. I look at a good friend of mine, Erin Hopkins. We were talking about her earlier today. She hit SC 104, I think, at the launch of Morning Meltdown, because she was in the test group and she shared her journey all along the way. And she had been talking to people like, oh my God, yeah, I can't wait for you to do this. Like, she had been doing all of that behind the scenes work, and all of that, I guarantee you, the next month, she still had to invite. She didn't, those people don't just be like, oh, I should do whatever she does. Like, that's a fantasy that you've created in your mind that's holding you back. It's a block. And I know the other thing I wanted to say about the fears and the blocks that we had talked about at the beginning of this call, one of the things that Brooke encouraged me to mention, and I failed to mention it, is that believing that those things are true are actually a younger part of yourself trying to protect you. because risk is putting yourself out there and growth is uncomfortable. And I guess this younger part of yourself is trying to protect you from risking and growing. And it's a friend, and she just said it's completely innocent. It's not someone trying to harm you in any way. It's not you like holding yourself back and all of this stuff. Her perspective on it, and I thought it was a really beautiful perspective, was knowing that those fears are completely innocent, and so it's very easy to forgive them and move on. Her big line is, I forgive myself for the misunderstanding that Danielle has the it factor and I do not. The truth is, I have the exact same abilities as every single person. So I love the way she phrases things. So I wanted to share that with you guys as well. So. Oh, hi, Manda.
Hi, I totally just woke up from like a 3-hour nap.
Oh gosh. Well, we're getting ready to hop off. I'll definitely
I
post
figured.
the
I was
replay.
like, well, I'll just hop on to see it.
No, you can be a part. You can be a part of the photo.
I miss all of your faces.
Yeah.
I'm so glad to see you for just 3 minutes.
Smile really quick though.
Okay.
There we go. You gotta have. I have been terrible about posting on Instagram today, so you'll go watch my stories, and it will look like it all the whole day happened at once. It's all happened all at once.
I'll watch the replay as soon as you post it.
Yeah, I'm glad you could hop on and look at your sweet pup. Oh, I need a snuggly dog. I'm about to go get a dog. I'm really not, but I really want a dog. Yes, Renee, you raised your hand.
I did. I have a question.
Yeah.
Well, I have lots of questions, but okay. So I have a few people that I really want to share that, is it MERS? 10 rounds, that template that you had mentioned.
Meredith. Yeah, Meredith.
Oh,
Yeah.
Meredith. Okay, you just said put MER, so I was like, MER.
So that's kind of funny now. You're like, oh, I should probably put Meredith.
So on it, you had said just make sure you change the links so it would match your like coach's ID.
Yes.
I don't know. I've looked through it a couple of times. I don't know what links that would be.
Okay. Well, why don't we do this? We can end the call here for everybody else. And if anyone wants to stay on and watch this, I'll do a tutorial for this. Because I do think it doesn't really make sense until you see someone do it.
Okay. Because I flipped through it via the Canva, and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm missing.
I will walk you through it because it is
here, Renee. I opened it up on my computer, and I was like, what links is she talking about that I have to change out?
Okay. I'll walk you guys through that. So let me pull all of that up. If anyone has to go, like I said, I know it's getting late on the East Coast, so I love you all, and I'm so grateful for your time tonight. And I'm going to keep recording this part of the call because I think it would be beneficial for those that watch the replay as well. But let me pull up, give me just a moment to pull it up.
Yeah.
We will go through it because, yeah, the first time I did this, it was confusing as well. Okay. So we are going to.
I'm going to yell, and I'm really, really. Oh, here's my mute button. Hold on.
Just got to yell. I'm constantly yelling myself. Okay, so what I did, went to our Team Nourish thing, clicked here. It opens up this thing. It opens up Canva, and we're going to click Use Template, right? So Meredith, who is part of our upline team, was so sweet and created this for our team to help be able to share this with potential clients. So again, let me make it clear, this is not something to post on social media. This is, hey, I would like more information about that 10 rounds boot camp you've been talking about. Awesome.
Yes.
No problem. I'd love to share this with you. Okay. So
yeah, I have a couple people that have messaged me, and since I'm still trying to wrap my head around some of it, because I've never done, I don't know anything about the 2B nutritional stuff, because I've only ever done containers, like the 20, like the ultimate portion.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, I don't really know. But I feel like this was just a nice complete package that I could just shoot off to them.
Yes, absolutely.
And
I totally agree. Okay, so first off, right here, click here for a preview of 10 rounds. So this is going to be thing number 1 that you're going to have to change. So right here, where is it? There it is, the link. So this is the Vimeo link. That's totally fine. So you don't need to change that to you because that's the Vimeo link that's free for everyone. That will not link them back. Because the whole point of looking at this and changing the things that need to be changed are so that if you send this to Sally, Sally doesn't accidentally take it upon herself to go purchase it from Meredith and not from you.
right.
Okay, so that one's fine. What is this? Is this linked as well? Yeah. Okay, so that looks like the same link. And I will tell you, I have not run through this myself. That's not something I've put on. Yeah, those are the same link. Okay. So this is just another way that they can access the free one. Let's go with this
So
one.
that one is the free one, that one of Joel.
Yes, that is the free one.
Okay, that's what I thought. But I was just, because I wanted to be able to tell them that they could look at that,
And just tell, and it says, if you read the info on it, it will say this document includes the free workout. So when they click on it, and I'll show you how to save it so that they can click on it, because some of the ways you save it, they can't click on it. And that's not it.
okay.
But this one right here, you see where this says Coach ID equals 293128? You would change that to 968. That's mine. So you're going to put your Coach ID right here.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
That's okay. I love this mom life. It's so good. I really want to drink the rest of my water too, but it's like
I'm glad you're doing this, Danielle, because I pulled up another one that Meredith had created. I
Mhm.
think it might have been in the entrepreneur training thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know how to change the link.
Look at us learning new things all the time. This is what we do here. So yeah, you're going to change right here where it says Coach ID equals, and you're going to put your Coach ID in there. If you don't know where your Coach ID is, log into your back office. It's on your dashboard in the top left. So then just click apply. But you do know you can't out-train bad diets, the cornerstone of our program, sample meal plans. So you're going to have to just go through and read this.
Yep. That's okay. I can totally do that now. I just was like, what would I even be looking for? But I get it now where that comes up.
Yep.
Okay.
So yeah.
So whatever, at the end of those numbers, I just got to put in mine.
For Coach ID. So let's look at this one. This is something about see what's in your bundle. So we click the link button. I don't know what this video is. So I'm going to copy it and paste it into a new thing. Okay, so this is a video that's attached to Team Beachbody. Good stuff. That's no worries. That's not anybody's private link. So that one.
And which one was? And sorry, my phone. That's what I was yelling at my husband for because I had it pulled up. I'm doing the Zoom on my phone, but I had the laptop pulled up so I could get a bigger picture. But then the laptop died. And anyways, so the link is the 2-chain link looking things.
Right here.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And then it says, contact me once enrolled. We'll get you on your challenge meal plan plugged into the online community. Okay. Yeah, this is super. She doesn't have a whole lot. Let me make sure these don't have links. Okay, those aren't linked. And so this is another way, as you are and I'm going to show you how to save it so that people can save it, can click on the links, because depending on how you save it, sometimes you can't click on links. But this is a really cool way for you to be able to share this with your people, right? This is phenomenal. One of the things, if you were to sit down and make something like this all on your own and say you wanted this, or here, we'll do it this way. You wanted, if they click on this picture, for them to get sent straight to your purchase page, right? So you would click that, then you would click this link button, and then you would copy paste whatever link it is you want to send them to right here. So if you were to want to create a link instead of just changing one. So when you're ready, when all of this says what you want it to say, and maybe, you know, you don't want it to say knockout challenge, say, you know, I was talking to Paige earlier, and hers is going to be the buff boot camp, which I think is so freaking cute. So maybe you want it to say 10 rounds buff boot camp. So you would just change it to whatever you want to say. So then you're going to go to this little down arrow thing right here. Click that, click download, and then you're going to click PDF standard. If you do not click PDF standard, no one can click on the links. It has to be PDF standard. So you would click that, make sure all 7 pages are together. Why are we paying? Oh, because she put premium images in there. Oh, punk. What? Oh, I bet it's one of these. Hold on. Let's zoom in. Because that's the other thing. Make sure that, I wonder what her, oh. Interesting.
Maybe the two at the, like that one, that contact me one might be.
Yeah, it's confusing though, because usually images that are paid, usually they have like a watermarked grid on them. I'm going to look, hold on. I'm going to download. And then down here it says download a free watermarked draft. So let's take a look at that and see which ones are. Because you can just change them to free images. That's what I would do. I mean, you don't need to pay $2 for this. One sec. Also, I literally wore this bra this morning, just so you know. And Keyshawn, guys, right here, she's my corporate mentor. So, like, it's so cool to see people, like real people that I know in this. It's so fun. I don't see a single one. So it's got to be something in the background. So just make sure that when you download it from Canva, that you click that bottom thing that says download a free watermarked draft.
Okay.
Again, I don't know what in it is watermarked because there's nothing that I see. So just click the free watermarked draft and you don't have to worry about it. Get off of the screen share here. Does that answer your question, Renee?
Yes.
Amanda Collison, did that
Yes.
get you what you needed? Cool. Awesome.
Okay. I have one more question.
Yeah.
Well, I have lots of questions, like I said, but I have one more pertaining to hello, Bubba. Hold on. Yes, I will. Hold on. Give me just 2 more minutes, okay? And then I'll be out, okay? When I am doing my going through the office page and I'm creating my profile or whatever.
Okay.
How do I know what my Snapchat thing is or my Facebook URL? How do I put?
I mean, if you want to put your Snapchat up there, then you go on. I don't have Snapchat, so you can people DMing you on your Snapchats. I don't even know if they have DMs. For your Facebook and Instagram, I can help you though. Like obviously your Instagram handle is going to be like, for me, it's team_nourish. So you would put the @ and then team_nourish. If it's a Facebook URL, so you would just go to your regular, here, I'll screen share it really quick. I'm such a better shower than a sharer or a teller. So just click your name up here on Facebook. You're going to have to do it from a laptop probably because I don't know how to do it from or from thing. And then this right here is your
Oh,
Facebook
this is right there.
Mhm.
Okay, like your actual like home site.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, because you're connecting people in a way that they can reach you. And be sure that you put connection points, because I mean, especially right now, especially if you're going to build a business. So in the last, since I became an Emerald 4.5 years ago, I have gotten Facebook leads. I think I've hit SC5 or more. I want to say like my metrics are like 48 months in a row or 46 months in a row. I rarely ever miss it, because I know the value of free leads, right? But I rarely had a free lead ever reach out to me. In the last 2 weeks, I've had probably 5 of my leads reach out to me, and they want help. And they're like, hey, this says you're my coach. What do you do? I need help. Can you help me with accountability? Can you help me with nutrition? Like, they are reaching out. So be sure, you guys who have been doing this a little while, be sure you go back and check and make sure your contact info is there, whether that's your email or your Facebook or your Instagram or however you want people to contact you.
Okay. Is it, since I'm just starting, is it something that I should like try to come up with like a team name or like a clever name?
No, don't worry about it.
Okay, perfect. 'Cause I didn't really want to worry about that right now, but I would if I had to.
I wouldn't. I mean, unless inspiration has struck you and you feel very strongly that this is going to be Team Salty Souled or Team Empowered or Renee's Fit
Whatever.
Well Warriors, then no, it'll come to you. It'll come to you
Okay.
as you grow. And you are all a part of Team Nourished, so feel free to use that. That does not point them back to me. You're not like leading them here. And I will tell you, I mean, our team is small enough at this point where if I see that someone has reached out to me and they have a mutual friend in Linda, I'm going to point them to Linda most likely, unless they 100% are like, please don't tell Linda I'm coming to you. I'm going to be like, hey, how do you know the coach on my team, Linda? That's amazing. Linda also runs this same boot camp. Let's get you guys connected. I mean, Amanda, Harold, and I, we were in MOPS for a really long time together. And I mean, we constantly are checking with one another because we have so many overlapping friends. Hey, Anna reached out to you. Have you talked to her already? No? Okay, she reached out to me, so I'll talk to her. Hey, Barbara or whoever. Actually, yes, I've been talking to her for a while now. No worries. Like, then I point Barbara back to Amanda. Hey, Barbara, I feel like you've been talking to Amanda about our boot camps. Just so you know, we run the same things. We might call it something different. It's the same. Yeah, I'm gonna hook you guys up so she knows that you're interested in doing this.
Okay.
It's integrity,
Hey,
Okay.
those watermarks are on page 5 and it's the arrows.
Oh, I mean,
Just
if that matters to you.
Yeah.
Look at you finding it though. Like y'all all watch me. It doesn't work.
When would you suggest that you sign up, like your husband or your sister or somebody else, as a coach?
As soon as you feel like making money.
So like today.
Like this hour. Yeah, I mean, and I know that sounds tacky, but really, truthfully, yes, you can make commission-based income today, right? Without ever becoming Emerald. Your business isn't open. Your business isn't really opened because what happens when you become Emerald is Beachbody has a bank account for you, right? Like, it's points based, but it's a bank account. You have no access to that bank account. You're not putting points in that bank account. The team that is growing rapidly underneath of you is not putting points in that bank account until you are Emerald.
Okay.
You will not earn residual income until you are Emerald. And so,
And so just so I understand that correctly, so if it's myself and I enroll my husband,
yeah.
and then let's say my sister,
Okay.
and then would I just enroll everybody else then in under those two if they're just buying challenge packs, or do I still put those under me? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So you just need them as coaches underneath of you to become Emerald. So then so say tonight you get off this and you go enroll your husband, and you call your sister and you're like, hey, I really am trying to start this thing. I really need your support. Can you please enroll under me? Yes. You send them share cards. They enroll under you. And now you're talking to Sally, your friend from work. But enroll Sally as a coach too, because that's always been my biggest thing, is the beginnings of your business are built on discount coaches primarily and really, I mean, even better if those people that come in are business builders as well. But the primary people that are going to enroll with you in the beginning are discount coaches. So everybody that you enroll, if you don't make it a big deal, they don't make it a big deal. So I can tag you in our team page. I really think I need to I don't know what you would call this, make it an announcement or something, because I reference people to this or refer people to this all the time. It's the verbiage of when I sent someone a share cart, because I just tell you to sign them up just like how you signed up. Well, not you, because I know you were a different situation, but a challenge pack as a coach, right? Bless you, Amanda. So signing them up as a challenge pack with the coach option clicked. So then when you send them that, I just have a little blurb that says, hey, here is your link to enroll, because I've now copy pasted that link from ShareAcart, right? Here's your link to enroll, so you don't have to go dig through your email for it. Also, when you start to enroll, you're going to notice you're enrolling as a coach. We're a health and fitness company. That is preferred customer. From now on, you will get a 25% discount because of that. And the verbiage that I have is very clear, very concise. If Sally comes back and says, I don't want to enroll as a coach, please, can I just do it as a customer? Absolutely, no problem. You recreate the share cart, click customer instead of coach. But my biggest thing with that is, say, Sally, you didn't do that. You did not listen to this coaching and you said, no, I don't think Sally wants to be a coach. She just said she wants to be a customer. I know better. So you sent Sally a customer link. And now 24 days goes by and Sally's about to get charged for Shakeology again. Sally's like, yes, I want to keep getting Shakeology. How can I get that discount? Now you've got to backtrack all of that. And you've got to go and enroll her as a coach. And she's got to pay $43. And then you have to submit a refund request.
Danielle, I have to interrupt you there.
Yeah.
If each body changed their thing, and you can get your coach fee reimbursed regardless of when you bought a challenge pack. That's how I converted 2 of my customers into coaches recently.
But are you still having to submit the paperwork though?
I've just sent them the form and said, if you want, if you sign up as a coach, but you want that fee reimbursed, you just fill out the form and submit it. And so, but that's been something because they're not having to pay. They have to pay initially up front, but then they get that money back.
Right. So yeah, no, that's always been a thing. That is, yes, that is 100%. That is a fantastic way. If you have old customers, if you've been doing this a little while and you have old customers, I mean, Carrie can speak to this a lot, right? Always contact customers and say, would you like to upgrade as a coach? And I have specific verbiage for that I can send you guys to, if the wording trips you up on that. But my point is that's so much more work had you just enrolled them as a coach to begin with. It cuts all of that out. They don't have to pay the $43 and then get it reimbursed, and it just cuts all that out.
Okay, so I guess I'm maybe not explaining that right.
Okay.
Then. So if they were to sign up as a coach off the get-go with a challenge pack, they wouldn't be charged that extra fee.
No, ma'am. It costs the exact same amount for a coach to enroll as it does a customer.
Oh, what the hell? Okay, I'm not thinking that right.
That's okay.
And
that's why we do it this way. Go ahead, Carrie.
it's way easier to start from the top and work your way down than to start from the bottom and work your way up.
Right. Because if you lowball all down here and make their decisions for them, trying to get that up here, like Carrie's talking about, is a hell of a process. But starting here, and they're like, no, thank you. No problem. We'll do it the other way,
Okay. So then what happens? So explain to me then how you explain it to somebody else. So let's say they start up as a coach,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get that monthly fee. So then they're saying, well, I'm not really saving in the 25% because then I have the fee.
So in the verbiage that I include, it says that there's a monthly fee of $15, but you're still saving almost $20 on your Shakeology, plus
Okay.
25% on anything else that
Anything
you
else?
purchase.
Okay.
And know
Yeah,
that if they're
you could email
military,
that to me. That'd be great.
yeah, I'll just tag you. It's in our team page. The other thing is if they are military affiliated, so active duty, soldier, sailor, whatever, a spouse of an active duty, a veteran, a spouse of a veteran, which is fairly new, or a gold star family member, meaning their spouse was killed in action, they get the $15 fee waived. So that, is really beneficial in the military community. I mean, if you have friends that you're talking to, I mean, and that is just stupid if they don't enroll. Like they're wasting their own money. And I have gotten bold in telling people, like, especially if it's, I have a girl in our boot camp who buys her Shakeology month to month. She didn't even let it do home direct, but every single month she buys it. And I told her 100 times, like, you really should be a coach so you can save 25% on this. No. It's a mind thing for me. Like, it just messes with my mind to be called a coach. And I flat out said, like, all right, well, I mean, thank you for the commission. Like, that's my commission then. Like, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm trying to do you a favor. Like, yes, it builds my team. Yes, that volume all rolls up, and we can do volume trainings and all of that kind of stuff. Our team has really good volume trainings. But really, it's benefiting the other person. So why would I not want them to have a better experience?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a lot of other questions, but I have to go because my kids, it starts snuggle time and I've already missed 20 minutes of it. And they're like, where are you at?
Oh,
So,
no. We're all good. Yeah. We're here every week.
okay.
And
Okay.
I'm here for you. So feel free to text too.
Okay, so I may send out some messages a little bit later. I want to get this fixed and then chat off to those 3 people that were asking about it, and then I may
take
be
action.
around. I may send you some more messages or something. So
Absolutely, take action, and that's
okay.
as we kind of end this call, that's my directive on ending all calls. Take action. Don't let this be something that just you heard. Go out and share your story authentically. Go out and be an effective storyteller. If your next step is look up Kendra Hall's training, I'm sure Kendra Hall has a YouTube channel. Get the book from Audible. Like, do something with what you've learned here that will move your business forward. So,
Okay.
right.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome, guys. Well, I guess it is getting late for y'all, so I'm going to hop off here and we will talk again. Feel free to message me or message one another or post in the team page. We're all in this together, so we want to help all the people. Y'all have a good night.
Night.
Bye.